All right. Hello, everybody. My name is Trevor. I am usually a Rocket League player. And then we have Chase with us. Chase, how you doing?
And I'm doing pretty good. I'm enjoying the being back to school, 5th day with my kids so far. Still going to bed when I shouldn't, waking up way before I should. So, that fumes mode of the week.
Of course. A lot of the coach rivals getting back to school time. So give or take that how you want. I know it's exciting for some and not as exciting for others, but
Yeah, so tonight's match we have against Diamond and TFT, currently ranked 3 in the Coach Rival Series, versus Gromp the Yard at 4-10, ranked number 6. Diamond and TFT is being captained by Pathfinder, while Gromp the Yard is being captained by Saikazi. So I know there's some scoring disparity there, but as we all know in Coach Rivals, no matter what the rankings are, the games are usually pretty spicy.
yeah, we have a couple of diamonds in the rough to say, a couple really high level players, but usually it just kind of shakes out whoever's got the better team, better environment, more communication, that kind of stuff kind of wins the games.
Yeah, definitely, and like be able to practice together and get those schedule things going, and us low elos, myself being iron fighting for bras all the time. You never know where we're gonna pop up. Like we are straight wild card all day on the Rift. And it doesn't matter where it's beginning or it's middle or the end. We're gonna do something wild that no one's gonna expect because we probably shouldn't be doing that in game, which is why we're bronze and iron. But I think that's usually the catalyst for what I've seen this season is the lower elo players kind of stepping up and making some plays and really doing everything they can to support the rest of their team that's cheering them on in chat and in comms.
Yeah, I think one of the backhanded compliments I got from my team is that I'm just a wild card, and sometimes it works out, and sometimes it doesn't. But it's always a fun time.
Yeah, like the problem is like if you just let us low elo players play our mains, even if we're really good on them, just let us play our mains. Don't ban us out. Don't do
Oh no,
that.
I have been banned out every single game. I have not played Lilia one time in in a match this season. Um,
I think
I've
that's
been
Rocket League spite. I don't think that has anything to do with League of Legends. I think it has everything to do with Rocket League.
oh man, well the thing is that I think the worst part about it is that we'll do practices and like scrims against some of these other teams that are in the league, and they'll let me get Lilia on the practices, sure, and then I just kind of don't do anything. I'm not very impactful even with my main. So some of these players, we're in gold, platinum lobbies. They're too good for me. I haven't played a whole lot, and I just don't know what all I'm doing.
Yeah, that's why I always like it. Even though we're all coaches, some of us have League of Legends teams, some of us don't. But the fact that we're all in here, we're learning new plays, and that's how you get better. Is by playing with better players, whether it's on your team or against, and having them kind of coach you through it, and being willing to take the time to answer questions like in game, and then just have that respect that regardless of how the game went, being able to kind of give you a little coaching of like, hey, that time that you did here, went there. So that's super helpful. We're jumping right into draft. We've got Diamond and TFT going first. They're getting rid of the Shaco. Grump the Yard follows up with a Darius.
Both two very polarizing characters. I think if you don't play those characters, you probably hate them. So understandable why they would get rid of those.
Yep, and allow it. So it definitely looks like they're aiming at top lane. Grump the Yard is looking to go after Diamond in the TFT's top lane. So I'm not sure who it is. I'm
I
pretty
think
sure
that's
it's
Pathfinder.
Pathfinder.
Yeah, Pathfinder
Pathfinder.
is by
Yeah.
far and away their highest ranked player. Um, so I think he's probably going to catch 3 bans. The problem with these high level, yeah, there's the Malphite. The problem with these high level players catching a lot of bans is that the low level players get their OTPs or they're really good champions, and the high level players just have these massive champion pools to come with, and so you can't really ban them out.
Sure, they got those comfort picks and they got the ones they're really good on, and then they have the ones they can just play regardless because they understand the kids. But we got our first pick out here. We got Mordekaiser, probably going to the top lane. So looking to do a lot of burn damage, a lot of bullying, and especially at what I love in the low elo is using that ult when you're going for that neutral objective and taking out the smite from the other team. And looks like they're going to answer with a Mundo.
Oh,
Maybe
that's
jungle. I think
no,
Mundo
that's definitely got to
Mordekaiser.
be a Mundo top. Yeah, they already saw a lot of the strategy in drafting this season. Been see what the other team drafts and then kind of draft that. We don't a lot of people don't like blind drafting anything. Um, I don't know.
Yeah.
Mundo Mordekaiser seems like a pretty even matchup to
Well, and I kind of lean towards Mundo a little bit because he does have the range. Once that Q can start firing off every couple of seconds, it's going to be annoying to Mordekaiser. So that's a really safe bet against a really good player. Bot lane on both sides, we got Ashe versus Zyra, so we got a lot of range, we got a lot of slows, and
a lot of poke in there. Yeah.
yes, they're looking to agitate people from afar.
I'm thinking it's going to be. I think we're going to be seeing a team, whatever team drafts for jungle to kind of take advantage of that bot lane matchup because that's going to be pretty volatile, especially with the
Yeah.
Kaisa down there too. They're just going to be hitting each other every chance they get.
Oh, there's Amelia. I don't know much about that champ. I know that uh, it can boost the energy and speed of the players around, and some heals, and just help pump out a ton of damage. And especially if you're already a ranged champ, it helps, I believe, extend the range a little bit.
Yeah, I know that Emilio has a lot of shields, so that may give them a good advantage if the Ashe can really get going. She'll just never die probably. They are going to ban out the Zac and the Amumu. Annie and Lissandra. Okay, so we have all of our bans out. We are getting some tips from chat. Chase and I are both pretty low elo. Apparently, Mundo cannot be ulted by Mord if he has the passive up.
I guess that's similar to when you throw a spell at him that's supposed to root him, and he's just running at you, and your last hope is to throw out that Lux Q, and he just runs right through it, and you're like,
Yeah,
okay, this is going to be fun.
some
So
kind
we
of
got a Zed
anti-season
bid
passive.
over
Yeah.
there for Grump the Yard. So it looks like they're just they're not giving any hints, like you said earlier, where they're just, hey, whatever you pick, we're going to pick. The only difference was that Zyra. So we got a Rammus
Do you
jungle.
see a
So
Rammus? I don't know if that's a super great pick for these lanes. how volatile they are. Rammus doesn't really gank that early.
No, but if you rush that Thorn Mail, against some of these AD champs and whatnot, that damage get tossed back onto you pretty quick and can hurt you definitely early for an early gank. But I do like his engage, especially if he can roll in from a distance and grab a lot of folks. That short knock up is just enough time to pump in a lot of damage. We got a Renekton coming in. All right, so we got two
Uh,
bullies. So Renekton mid
oh,
lane
Renekton mid,
possibly.
I suppose. Yeah, Mord and Renekton could just swap, really,
Yeah,
realistically. And then we have a Karthus. Karthus mid, maybe. I don't know. I don't see a whole
Karthus
lot of
jungle. I'd say
Karthus.
Karthus
Oh,
jungle.
Karthus jungle. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're right. They had
It's
jungler. Yeah.
not much of a thing, but it is a thing, and you just call in that airstrike, no matter where he's at. He's like a C-130, and just
And I think that actually is a really good point. I think that's a pretty strong jungler for coach rivals in general, just because, maybe even if you're not paying a whole lot of attention to the health on everybody, if someone calls for a Karthus R, you just hit over Gromp. All right, I'll press the R button.
and if without the whole inting part, if you treat it a little bit like the ARAM, even though you don't have snowballs, if you just get into the middle of the fight, even if you die, the passive just keeps going. You just keep dropping Qs, folks. The enemy team, unless they're super strong and they have a lot of magic resist, Karthus is just going to slowly melt and burn folks left and right. They're going to have to disengage or run away. So if you get them at a good choke point, maybe a fight in the jungle where they have to run an avenue or a gateway, like it's gonna be can be really spicy here.
Yeah, I think that I like um, the right side. I think I like Gromp the Yards draft a little bit better. They seem to have a little bit more synergy between the Mundo and the Milio with a lot of shields, and the Karthus, who I think is going to be a lot more beneficial to gank with. He'll get that Leandries at some point. He'll be able to burn down the Mordekaiser. He'll just do a lot of damage to the Kaisa and the Renekton.
Yeah,
I'm a fan of them.
what I really like about that Kaisa pick, especially with the Zyra, is even though Kaisa can go from range, her engage and be able to jump into a fight, throw out a ton of damage, and then come back out is going to be really good for them. She'll have that really strong escape. Zyra not only with her root, but also has her ult that's a really large circle to help grab an entire team or some slower folks. But depending on how they run Ash, she's going to be putting out a lot of damage, especially with her Q. But hitting those ults and potentially going with a lot of cooldown, Ash could be throwing out W's left and right, and her ult could be up, every 25, 30 seconds. And so she could fire that sucker down mid lane, and by the time she gets there, it's up again to use again. So it's going to be really interesting to see what route they do. For me personally, I just feel that as long as there's an invade, then this is a highly successful coach rivals game.
Yeah, I think it is important to note that Kaisa did receive, from what I understand, a pretty decent nerf today on this most recent patch. So that Kaisa also may not be doing as much as they think it's going to do, which could really screw up some teams. I know that my team personally did not want to play tonight. We had the option. We were kind of wavering if we wanted to play tonight because of the patch today. We weren't sure what all it was going to change.
I know patches never affect me because I'm not good enough to use them, so it all plays the same. So um, I don't worry too much about it. I don't waver from my champs, but I think if you're familiar with the champ that and you understand what the patch notes are and you can kind of do the math, it may just be a couple extra waves that you have to get, checking out your itemization, that type of thing. So I'm sure that the captains of the teams are letting them know the itemization they should go based on this current patch. It's been out all day, so being able to read up on that type of stuff is some of these coaches have probably done, or they're just going to wing it, one of the two. But invade wise, in all honesty, I think that Diamond and TFT, in my opinion, has the better invade. I don't know that Gromp the Yard wants to get involved with an invade just based on the level of squish they have and lack of damage they have early on.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd be pretty. I'm just going back on the Kaisa. She used to just absolutely blow people up, but if they're
Definitely.
not used to it, and she engages on a fight and doesn't get that instant kill or that instant double kill or anything else, like I mean, they were in practice school. They were practicing. They were testing some things out. We know that for sure. But from what I understand from people who are far better than me, she got quite the nerf today.
And so here we go. Pulled up the patch notes 13.5. Her base health actually dropped 30 from 670 to 640.
Okay,
Let's see here. Her Q, looking at this real quick. Da, da, da. Her Q went up plus 20 AP on each level. Let's see here.
quite a bit.
Yeah, looks like value is about the same. She's maximum single target up 45, and then her evolved is plus 75. So Q seems to be a little bit stronger, but her health is a little bit lower. Void, her Void Seeker, her W dropped by 2%, um, which, based on the parentheses, this is a functionality and is functionally an 8.7% cooldown increase on hit. So, um, yeah, so it looks like her health has been damaged a little bit, but uh, wolves, not excuse me, not damaged, but her health has dropped down just a little bit, so she's going to be even squishier. But it looks like they made up for it by more damage, so she may just have to wait to start her runs in and jumping in and out. Looking through the notes, it doesn't look like anybody's really uh, a, um, affected during this match.
No one else caught any nerfs. I didn't think so. I didn't think any of these.
No.
I think Milio probably needs to catch a nerf or two, but that'll come a little later when he's not such a new champion anymore.
Yeah, the Annie ban, Timber's durability was been decreased. I'm starting to learn Annie right now a little bit, trying to get past the just, you know, foreheading the keyboard and hoping for the best type of deal. But I know Timber's got me more kills than I did. Um, Looking at some of the items, I don't know if any of the champs run. Don't think any of them run Night Harvester. I think that would be an item for any of those.
That
Um,
could be a Zyra thing. I'm not. No, maybe Karthus. Karthus might run that.
and it doesn't look like anybody's going to be running. I don't feel Glacial Augment on any of these champs as well. Um, let's
So
see here.
relatively unaffected from the patch. Most of these characters.
Yeah, for these champs, doesn't look like unless there's probably some nuanced things in there um, that potentially could happen. Let's see here. Those were the big ones for the main champs. They got the small list people down here on the bottom. You got to go through them one by one because you can't control F. Make it easy on yourself.
I do
Um,
wonder how much this person's played Karthus because I don't remember my team playing a Karthus, like pretty much whatsoever in this season. So I don't know. A lot of these champions I actually do not see in my very high bronze 3 elo very often.
yeah, I've seen so in my iron, I see Zed a lot. I see Ash and usually bad Kaises, to be honest. Those are the ones
Bad
that I see
guys,
the
yeah.
most. um, they just and what I mean by bad just means that they don't understand when their spikes are. They don't realize like how little power they're pumping out. So a lot of early deaths and whatnot. Um, Zeds at our level, like if you just play around their W and remember to bully them after the W's out, then you're kind of good. But it takes a while to get comfortable with that. But yeah, these I do like these synergies. Renekton can stay in there and really heal up a lot. Rammus can slow folks. Zyra can slow folks, and especially if she knows how to use those plants. Oh my goodness, like Zyra could almost be a jungler if she's not one already, based on how well those plants could do.
Yeah, there's a lot more CC on Diamond and TFT's side. Um, so it really depends on how much they're willing to team fight with each other. Team fighting is kind of awkward because Mordekaiser's R kind of takes someone out of the fight, which could be a good or a bad thing. You never know.
Yeah,
I think
it,
they were definitely more of a team fight comp.
Diamond and TFT definitely has a solid front line, with Rammus, Renekton, and Mordekaiser. Even if Mordekaiser happens to go, decide to do full AP, it that health is still going to grow with some of those items. On the other side, I guess Mundo, once he gets going, can be considered basically two tanks in one, just because
Oh
how
yeah.
much he can heal and his arm popping and whatnot. It really does look like they're going to, Mundo frontline and just absorbing as much damage as he possibly can. Ash tossing in some slows and damage from back. Velio igniting everybody. Karthus burning and Zed just coming in and trying to get one pick and just exploding somebody, being able to jump from person to person. I think an Axiom arc would be good on Zed because if he can get going, especially early, um, and at least just in gold, not necessarily in kills, but just get that gold up there, being able to use his ult and his ability, assassin style, will really help him kind of help the team go. On the other side, I think they're just kind of like a slow roll team, like they really want to build up their health, and they have it's going to be really difficult to get to heavy damage dealers, but at the same time, their damage dealers are up front as bruisers as well coming at you. So they've got front, middle, and back lane kind of taken care of. This is going to be a fun match.
Yeah, I'm really thinking Gromp the Yard probably wants to play for that long game. I think the longer the game goes, they're probably going to be able to outscale. Um, I'm really looking at that top lane now that I thank you to the person in chat, but now that I understand that Dr. Mundo cannot be ulted by Mordekaiser, although if we look at the draft order, it looks like Renekton might be going top against Dr. Mundo. Which might make sense. I think we might have a little bit of a misread from our draft here. I think Renekton looks like he's going to be going up top against the Mundo. So now that entire matchup is obviously switched.
Yeah, with those flex champs, they could be all over the place. So um, there it is. It's finally on my screen, so it looks like I'm a couple seconds behind you. Um, so yeah, it's Mordekaiser mid, is Renekton top instead.
Mordekaiser mid is interesting because he gets a lot of benefit from chasing people down with his passive. So a shorter lane in the mid lane. I mean, Mordekaiser against Zed, I don't know if I see that very often. So it'll definitely be interesting to see how that plays out. I still think that they probably want to play for the long game. And I mean, Renekton to Mundo, I don't know how that plays out. I have to think it's a little bit better for the Renekton, especially early on. And if they can stop Mundo from getting big and basically unkillable, this might be a very hard game for Gromp the Yard.
Yeah, and if you're looking at rankings with Diamond and TFT, right now they're ranked three, and Gromp the Yards ranked number six. Both teams, looking at all the other standings, can definitely Gromp the Yard still has an opportunity to push up and potentially do a little playoff run for semifinals. At the very least, they can mess up the standings for Diamond and TFT and make that semifinal match a little more difficult by dropping them down to fourth position and having to go with the top against the top team. So it's definitely a case where any like win or lose, despite rankings, it all matters. It's not a pushover. It's not a hey, let's just finish the season, have some fun.
Well,
Type of thing.
this is
They're gonna fight.
playoffs, right? So if they lose here, they're just done with their season.
Well, then just disregard everything that I said. I'm a week behind. Remember, I am on like 4 hours of sleep over the last 2 days of school. So there you go.
Yeah, if you lose here, you're just gone. Um,
Well, even
which
better. Let's let number six, Gromp the Yard, take out Diamond and TFT and get this Cinderella story going.
I don't know if it'd be Cinderella. I mean, Diamond TFT is pretty good, but um, but yeah, I don't know. Gromp the Yard definitely needs to play for the late game, in my bronze opinion. Thank you for all the support in the chat. Remember, I'm not very good at this game, so if I say things that are wrong, Chase as well. If he says things that are wrong, it's fine. Don't worry about it. Uh, But I think that they probably have to go for the long game, Gromp the yard side.
Yeah, and I also think the good idea of putting Mordekaiser in mid was just it allows Pathfinder to roam around a lot more and kind of find those kills that will help him snowball a little bit and just have that chant become unbearable in game. So
Let's see. All right. We're going to get started off here. I mean, you said that your only real criteria for a successful game is an invade.
yes,
So we're going to get started off, and we're going to see if this game is a success or not. It does not look like we're seeing too crazy of things. We're seeing a 5-point, basically, from Gromp the Yard.
We got something spicy down there at in bot lane right now. Pathfinder. We have our.
The stream can't see the game right now, so I have let Prime know. Do not worry. We're switching over to that second. We do have.
We certainly could have played that differently. If we were excellent casters, we could have called out like a quadra kill for Karthus.
True, there was a Pinta, everybody. Oh my gosh!
Watch this.
A Pinta by Dr. Mundo. He's going to be fed out of his mind.
Yeah,
unkillable already.
Patient. We still got 3 in the tri-bush down here. Mundo's sitting up top. Renekton is sitting on blue. It looks like everyone's content to just chill and hang out.
It does look like we're going to do the stereotypical bot side start for both junglers.
It's coming game 2, though. Definitely.
Yeah. Oh, I don't think either of these were in. I don't really like invading unless I have a hook champ. So, you get a Leona, you get a Blitzcrank, you get a Nautilus, something like that. If I don't have a hook and then some CC to slow it up, I'm really not a big fan of invades.
Yeah, and a lot of your CC champs, you're not going to run your CC first because you're working on CSing and support and all that kind of stuff. But right now, you have into the game. CS is equal. Correction. Diamond and TFT just took a 100 gold lead.
Nothing too crazy going on.
Push for level 2. We got fights in the mid lane. Ward's passages up, but having to back up a little bit, sitting there about a little less than half life. So definitely having the mobility over him. Top laners just doing top lane things, staring each other down, high-fiving, and get close to each other. Really
Karthus is clearing out of his mind. Karthus is one of the fastest clears in the game.
Yes, he is.
And so he is already on red buff. That is incredible.
Yep, he did a full clear on the bot side, so he's moving up through the top.
And I mean, he's gonna smoke Rammus to any place that he ganks. So this Mordekaiser's looking like easy pickings for someone that has range. Although Mordekaiser does have a ward in the bush, so Karthus has to go the long way if he wants to pick that one.
Definitely, and they won't have.
Looks like the Mundo is going for an invade on the Rammus here. Rammus is pinging that he needs help, please. They're just scaring him a little bit, staring him down, putting the fear of God into him, perhaps.
Yeah, potentially dropping a ward. I do know that for some reason, just like most League of Legends players, the client is camera mode does not go to top lane ever. So most of our reads are going to be from the mini map in the bottom right corner. As you can see, we got timers up there for folks to know when the dragons are showing up. And
Zed already burning his ignite on the Mordekaiser. I think that was a little bit hastily done there. Mordekaiser backing while a wave crashes underneath his turret. Gonna miss out on some CS and experience and give Zed a little bit of gold there. Not too much using the teleport, but that lane is looking pretty dominated by the Zed right now.
Yeah, and that's a good thing for the Zed because the Zed does have good clear, but smothering that the Mordekaiser underneath tower is going to be a really good bet, really good way to help. So Ram is coming in, dropping the W, getting out of there real fast. Well done. So now we know where all the junglers.
Ram is coming down to bot lane. They might be fighting here. Okay, not quite. They're going to go their separate ways.
Karth is going to start his second clear. Mundo's going to be...
Mundo looks very killable here. No Ignite on the Renekton, though. He probably, maybe he should have considered taking that. The Renekton, you know, Mundo is very hard to kill.
We're going to go after the Ashe real quick. Grab the Ashe.
Ashe flashes out. She is taunted, though. He's going to die.
Zyra, and she is done, unfortunately. Great patience on Rammus and synergy by the bot lane. That root from Zyra really helped out because she flashed out, was ready to go. And that W would have helped her kind of escape with Milia's speed up. I think Milia's let speed up a little bit.
Yeah, the only lane really with any kind of CC is bot lane. And we did call this beforehand that we're going to be looking for bot lane to kind of be what's fought over here. Rammus is counter ganking, doesn't quite get the... Oh, they do get the Karthus. But they need to be very careful here. The Karthus passive can definitely kill them.
Yep, they knew the range. They stuck right outside of it. Once you see it drop once, it's really easy to kind of get your way out of there. But that was a great job. That W going in and out, it really felt like Karthus was probably low on mana and just couldn't sit there in the fight, consistently burn, which is kind of Karthus' bread and butter. But overall, great job in the bot lane, lowering some folks, being able to get some CS, getting a kill over there on Diamond and TFT and forcing some backs.
Zyra already buying an Oblivion Orb. I don't really know if that is a typical buy for Zyra. No one's really gotten anything to start healing with, as far as I know yet. But, you know, Zyra, she probably knows what she's doing. She's played the champ once or twice.
Yeah, I mean, as the start of an anti-heal, maybe it's just...
maybe they're preparing for the Mundo. It's kind of all I can think about.
Potentially, you know, the item that she gets, you know, gives her respawn. The top lane, Mundo getting pushed back under tower back at Half-Life, but with I have noticed that Mythic has been bought second a lot. Like there's rushes for other items versus the old school way of doing Mythic. Renekton going in again potentially. Mundo Wing out with a little bit of speed there to help save him, get out of Renekton's jaws. Yeah, we're going to say that. I'm going with that one.
Oh, it does look like there's going to be another skirmish down in the bot lane. I don't think that the Gromp the Yard has dealt with a Rammus very often. They keep getting taunted by him and then caught in the secondary CC by other champions. So I think they look a little uncomfortable playing against a Rammus. Rammus is not a character that is in the meta whatsoever, really. I don't see him very often. He's kind of supposed to be a character for new players to kind of try out and get the hang of, but right now it looks like they are very uncomfortable playing against him. Oh, and Shubios is going to live with... How much HP is that? Maybe, what, 10? Oh, the Karthus R is coming in. He gets the free kill. He presses R.
That was the call-out we talked about earlier. Zed did his part. That Ignite ticked him down to probably single digits. We couldn't see. But definitely single and really low double digits. And Karthus just used the R to get rid of it. So a little bit of a timeout for mid lane. Zed gets a breather, push a little bit. Hopefully back get a good item.
I mean, Zed has been, in my opinion, absolutely dominating that lane so far. I'm still caught up on this Oblivion Orb by the Zyra. You know, the bot lane won that fight pretty hard. They should start snowballing. Usually, if you're not going to buy your Mythic first, you buy a really high damaging item first. Oh, as I say that, we're going to see Pathfinders absolutely destroy the Mundo. I'm not really sure about anti-heal. Ooh, anti-heal this early, just I don't know. I'm not a big itemization guy. I buy the same core items every single game, pretty much. Lilia's not a whole lot going on there. We're gonna see a great. Oh, we get a slow.
Followed up, taunt, hold. Still pushing out a lot of damage. She is gonna be able to go with Milia giving her a little bit of boost. So great job on bot lane for Gromp the Yard getting out there, not giving them a kill that time. And
that needs to be a lesson learned, though. I think that Ashe thought that she had a 200 IQ play by using her R to stop the Rammus, but then Rammus just used his R to get to her again. So it needs to be a lesson learned, or else they're going to get caught out pretty bad next time.
Yeah, definitely, but her R definitely helped her escape that one a little bit. Had she not done that, she would have stuck even further up. But like you said, learning that, hey, if I see them coming in, that's too far for me to go up. So they're going to have to play a little more cautious, um, some stronger vision in the river. But I think Grump the Yard, we're only 9 minutes in. It's only 4-1. We only got 3K difference, or correction, 2K difference right now. And I think we're pretty safe. And somewhere in there, a dragon is taken.
Yeah, we had the Rammus essentially solo the dragon. He has a lot of heal on his kit from the taunting and all that, so not too hard to do for a Rammus. They are Zed is spotted out in bot river here. This might be a collapsible moment. He's taking a scuttle crab. I guess he just really wants to deny the Rammus farm. Rammus is probably the strongest, or one of the strongest on Diamond and TFT's team right now. So maybe denying him a little bit of farm is a good thing.
Yeah, and checking up at chat right there, we just say that Melio has heals on their W and their R. So maybe that early pick of the Oblivion Orb and finishing out that item is destined to kind of help out Kaisa smoke out some damage a little bit more. And unfortunate for Dr. Mundo, I had Renekton underneath the tower, but with no minions, unable to really move forward without taking a ton of aggro from those minions.
I will say that this mid lane is going to be very, very difficult. Just looking at the summoner spells between Zed and Mordekaiser. Mordekaiser having TP is great late game, but this early game, Ignite on the Zed is really going to make that lane hard to win.
Mundo with a great escape again, using W to speed up and get out of there. Even with the stun, was able to survive its second lane to still be able to CS.
We do see quite a CS gap in the top lane. Mundo being a little scared of dying, potentially, and he might die anyway here.
Yeah, but gank in coming in, that passive W coming in, helping even though there's an R. And of course, with the rundown, they're going to go to bot lane. That's what's important. But Karthus is going to stay up there, slow him down, drop a couple of Qs.
Karthus does have his R, which I believe might blow him enough to catch up again. But Renekton is just so strong. A level 8 Karthus versus level 10 Renekton.
Yeah,
uphill
definitely
battle.
needs a little more drop in the health, potentially use it a little bit later.
And as we see this, I mean, we're seeing Rammus. He is counter jungling the Karthus, and they're about to collapse on him underneath tower. Oh my gosh! And they're gonna be gone and out of there way before Mundo can catch back up.
Yep, Mundo coming in.
Karthus is pressing R. Can Mundo get the Pathfinder?
There it goes. Turn.
Big shutdown.
The Rammus. Hopefully they're calling out.
No, just push your wave, Mundo. Get your advantage. You got a big bounty there. That's worth enough. He's just push his wave and get some plates, and then probably back and get a better buy to face the next. Man, that was a crazy fight. I thought they were going to be gone and out of there well before. I don't really know why Renekton went toward the Rammus there, because Rammus was out of there. I don't think he would have caught up to him. Rammus trying to get out of there again. Zed is just so strong.
He is.
Oh, and they're in a 1v1 here in their own little Thunderdome of sorts, and Jubilis is going to take that one for sure. That's really two big shutdowns.
It was really unfortunate. Zed almost had the Rammus. Rammus had to ult over the wall. Zed was able to follow, but Rammus flashed and couldn't get that last little bit of damage with the QB down. And really unfortunate timing with that Mordecai showing back up, getting a little life in it. Looks like we're zoning a little bit, getting rid of the wave. Looks like what Renekton potentially trying to do, having supported the Rammus back there.
We are going to see the Karthus really trying to pick up this CS in the mid lane. Renekton is counter jungling too. I mean, they are just going to be starving this Karthus for a very long time, and if he just keeps losing camps like this, he's not going to scale the way that they desperately need him to. Oh, but we are going to see a collapse here, and Karthus is just going to disappear because he is very squishy, and that's going to be a taken red buff and a double kill for Jubilis. And Zed, there's no way you can ever fight this, Zed. You are 2 levels down, and they are very healthy. We're seeing a lot of just blatant shenanigans. Everyone leaving their lane, just fighting each other across pretty much the entire map without even the first turret being taken. And I think that's just because Diamond and TFT is just so far ahead. I mean, any fight, they're just taking 2-0, 3-0. And they're pretty much killing the entirety of Gromp the Yard right now.
They are. Gromp's doing a great job, though. They are, other than that one tower dropping, they first tower dropping at 15 with protecting all the other ones. You know, I can imagine what the comms are right now on Gromp the Yard. I mean, they're letting people know they're rotating. You've seen some teams, you know, they're letting people know what they're doing. Right now, I just think synergy is a little stronger over on Diamond and TFT. But I'm not counting Gromp the Yard out just yet. It's still early, like you said before, you know, during picks that that late game would work best for them. So I think we play a little patiently, a little safer. You know, not under tower, but you know, like just working on, you know, CS and getting some gold, catching that lead back, minimizing that gold lead that they have, and you know, a couple of item spikes, and they're right back in this.
Yeah, really, I think the difference maker for me is that, you know, top lane was kind of solo winning, bot lane was winning after that gank, mid lane was winning for Gromp the Yard, in fact, early on, but obviously that advantage has disappeared pretty much into nothingness here. So I think that TFT. You go.
No, I'm sorry. Let's say the counter jungling definitely, I think, had was kind of a shift in the game right now. Lane wise, I think everybody's like kind of doing their thing and they're fighting well against each other and trading and CSing, you know. But that counter jungling and having ganks from sneaky spots is maybe caught Gromp the Yard off guard just a little bit. But looks like everything's starting to calm down a little bit. People going back to lane and just going back to normal mid game requirements, clearing out some vision, and just kind of resetting.
Yeah, it's important to note we also have not seen a single Rift Herald be taken, and it is minute almost 17 here. Really, the teams are putting an emphasis on dragons. I think that Diamond and TFT understands that Gromp the Yard will win the late game, so they are trying to push this early advantage as fast as possible, taking dragons so they can't scale, making sure that they're team fighting early. I think that's kind of their anti-aim. We are going to see an Oblivion Orb from the Karthus. He also already has Leandries. An Oblivion Orb plus Leandries at this point is going to be very strong. I think he's pretty much just targeting the Renekton. Maybe a little bit of the Mordekaiser as well. Cool. We are going to see Karthus get a very skillful R-press to get a kill down in bot lane.
I just realized that I can make my screen bigger, and so now I can actually see what you're talking about, because I was like, where does he see that? Like, I can't even see green. So I'm on the same page now. So I know what you're talking about. Yeah, right? It's fun being a 45-year-old gamer.
And we saw the Rift Herald. I called out the Rift Herald. They took down the Rift Herald. Now they're pushing their advantage into a second lane. Bot lane is just kind of being ignored for once. But I mean, this is already a very slippery slope for Gromp the Yard. They're in trouble, to say the least.
It is. When you feel like you're behind, and the other team is still playing really aggressive and kind of pushing, you're playing two different games at the same time. You're trying to make sure that you're surviving without turtling and kind of like just waiting for an inevitable type of decision, but you're also trying to make sure that the other team knows that you can't just bully and push everybody around and do whatever you want, you know. So both teams are, you know, doing their thing, trying to stay into the game. Diamond and TFT, while they're being aggressive, can't get too wild and make a mistake that allows Gromp the Yard to jump back into the game faster than they want them to. So it's being able to make sure that using your Pinglish and communicating and make sure you get good vision on the other team's side is definitely what they're going to need. We got an engage down here in the bot jungle going after Champs. Zed flashes out and is safe there. They're still going to be running around him. Karthus trying to help out, so they were able to save that a little bit with 4 people down the bot lane. The rest of the team is coming, so they're gonna have a looks like we're gonna have a good scrimmage potentially up here in the jungle. But it looks like maybe it's gonna kind of push them out, looking for a pick. Diamond and TFT is spread out a little bit from different ways. Gromp the Yard just needs to find that one pick they can get. Looks like they might get it there in the Zyra, but she's just a little too fast for their CC. She caught two folks.
Renekton's coming in to get about 15 kills.
And he's going to put some hurt on folks. But Karthus is going to put in...
Oh my gosh!
Blow up the Kaisa on the screen. And now they do have a little bit of a chance of but
so not going to matter, not with
their one tank that they had was the only one that was down. And the Pathfinders run away here a little bit with Renekton, was able to do a ton of damage to a lot of the lower life champs.
Yeah, they almost got the Renekton there. We did see, I mean, Karthus, you know, picked up the original bounty on the Renekton and the Kaisa, gave him an extra 1,000 gold, so he was able to pick up both the needlessly large rods. It looks like he is going for a Rabadon's Rush with Liandry's. That is going to effectively kill the Kaisa with an R by itself. So if they can get any kind of damage on her, it'll pretty much kill her. It'll also do a lot of damage to the Renekton. He has a lot of AP and a lot of burn very early in the game. Right now, Karthus is going to be the make or break of this game.
Yeah, definitely. Like you said, the combination of the Ramadans with the Liandry's, and then, you know, getting him into the middle of the fight and hopefully getting some misclicks, so he's not targeted, and his W is just going to burn for a long time, even after the fight. So being able to throw out that passive Q after he's been defeated in a team fight, or even if just a small scrimmage off to the side somewhere, his R is going to come in real handy later on, because, like you said, he's going to be able to off one champ just with the R, and hopefully with a lot of lower health champs to be able to help clean up and even things out. We've got a scrimmage up here in the top, and Kaisa getting a little payback there, going after Emilio.
Emilio just kind of evaporating. Ash almost got caught in that. I really, you know, I like that the Karthus is strong. I understand that they kind of need to feed him. He's kind of the strongest player on the team right now, but there's no CC for Karthus to land, you know, multiple Ws or to get into his shroud or any of that. They don't really have a whole lot of CC to kind of, you know, layer the burn that Karthus could provide right now.
Yeah, definitely. You know, and I really feel that the next big fight that's going to happen, and Gromp and Yard's probably already talking about it, but in
Mundo's going to face check a bush.
In about 3.5 minutes, we have Dragon Soul popping up.
You're right.
I know it's not Leaf Dragon, but good grief, my brain is frozen. So I'm saying Leaf Dragon. It's going to be the soul.
I'm kind of surprised that they haven't. Diamond and TFT hasn't, you know, forced a fight on Baron with how much stronger they are. They force a fight on Baron. If they can clean up most of the other team, they get the Baron for free. They probably can start breaking down some of these base towers with that. Right now, every fight should be coming up. Gromp. Oh, we are going to see another R on the Kaisa. Or should be coming up Diamond and TFT. Sorry. Pretty much every fight should be one for them.
Yeah, hopefully, fortunately, that R Pathfinder put out the R that's blocking off the escape route over the wall. Really good move by Uranus. And then we have a good spot lane. Mordekaiser's gonna have to go a little
Mordekaiser does not win this.
No.
No. I understand that he thought he had to go for that desperate attempt, but even though you are very, very strong, your entire kit is kind of countered by burn, and that's all Karthus is right now. He also just got Rabadons. So Karthus is going to be very strong. I would be kind of surprised if he doesn't get a Dark Seal with how much influence he's had in a lot of these fights. But we will see.
It looks like they're going to clear vision, push the lane to possibly take this mid lane tower, and while Gromp the Yard is working on pushing lanes out, take a Baron is maybe a good idea for a Baron, but it's also 90 seconds for the Soul Dragon. So Gromp the Yard is definitely going to have to make a move to try to grab one of those. If they do want to contest that fourth dragon, they got to get one to kind of help them out. And doing some really good back timers. That's the words I'm looking for. Able to get back, do a buy, and be back just before the dragon is up. Diamond and TFT is vision's gonna be important to them to see when they're coming. They know they're gonna be coming through jungle. They're gonna have to clear some vision, just like they're Gromp the Yard's doing right now, and just know when to either pick the fight and start the dragon and come off of it when Gromp shows up, or just fight first and then hit the dragon later. It's going to be real interesting which rate they go. It looks like right now they're just going to try to set up in jungle a little bit and make some pushes. So we got about 30 seconds to some mayhem that's about to happen over this Soul Dragon.
Yeah, this is pretty much just a win-win situation for Diamond and TFT. You can either get the Baron for free while the other team is trying to get their very first dragon of the game, or you can force a fight onto this last dragon and most likely win it.
Two quick picks right there. We have
Karthus ult going to do so much damage. Gosh.
Unfortunately, Zed did what he could, but he got stuck by Zyra finding a Q from Mordekaiser, and that is going to be an ace. So they're going to push to take.
Not an ace yet. Mundo got out. Oh, Mundo's still alive. Don't knock them while they're down. Come on.
He looked gray on my screen. I didn't see the red number.
That is Soul Point. They're also going to book it straight to the Baron here.
Yeah.
And then really they should just kind of high step it down mid lane, call it a day. And I think Diamond and TFT can pretty much start thinking about their draft for next game.
Yeah, they should be able to. I mean, Gromp the Yard might be able to turtle for a few more minutes. But right now at a 4 dragon deficit, 24-9, and a little over 10k lead. Diamond and TFT really shown why they're ranked 3s, and Gromp the Yard is doing their thing to keep pushing because it's not over until that victory sign pops up and Nexus falls. So they're not going to give up. They're still talking. They're still chatting. They're pushing lanes out, trying to give themselves a breather, and in the hopes of being able to find Diamond and TFT, make a mistake someplace, maybe get a little overconfident and too aggressive, and make them be able to find a sneaky pick somewhere and really start pushing back.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing Gromp the Yard really try to push out these lanes. They are going to lose the tower if they don't take out the cannon minion. They lost the tower for free. Oh, man, they needed to come out and get that cannon minion. I mean, there's just not a whole lot they can do. They realistically need to last, like, I don't know, until minute 40. Even if they're not getting the gold, I don't know if they're going to really be able to outscale. It's looking pretty rough.
And I totally understand leaving that cannon there because that cannon was still Baron buffed, and there's no telling where that person was or if Zyra was just kind of a bait, So, I mean, yes, they lost the tower, but I think it's better than, people pushing and trying to lose a bunch, picks or losing a 3v2 fight or something like that. So, Gromp the Yard definitely making decisions based on what they got in front of them. They're trying to control the game from their point of view a little bit, while Diamond and TFT does their thing. So Gromp the Yard still going to turtle pretty hard here and really clear waves as quickly as possible. And right now, Diamond and TFT really pushing in top and trying to find a break somewhere in the defense of Gromp the Yard to be able to take out that first level of towers inside the Nexus. That Baron buff really helping him out right now. Mundo taking a ton of damage right now, but still has 3/4 of his life there, so he's not Q worried. He's just going to keep throwing Qs and poking at some of those squishies. Mordekaiser's doing solo down in bot lane. Someone's going to have to answer him, or they're going to end up losing that first tower.
Yeah, really, there needs to be a play from Gromp the Yard sooner than later because you can't just let all three lanes lose their tower, lose their inhibs. There is a play. The Kaisa is really not loving her life with this Karthus just absolutely murdering her every chance he gets. So that is not great. Oh, the Ashe hits a very strong arrow. Does get a kill. We are going to see the Rammus do Rammus things and just not really die or take any damage. Just kind of annoy everyone on the team. But yeah, they're going to lose 3 turrets here. Oh man, they need to make a play very soon. That was a half of a play, but they need like 2 full team wipes at this point to catch up to this game. Although they are scaling, they're starting to get there. But can they survive that long? I'm not sure.
Good dodge by Rammus. Mundo does have to be careful because Renekton is still over there in the jungle. It could pop. Oh, never mind. He can see fish on top. So
Renekton is going to go solo the Mundo, though. He's coming in from behind him. And this is probably the make or break fight because the Mundo is really the only one that can take him.
Yep, Flash with the ult and W. Great job by Mundo to stay in it. Getting his health back up, so they're going to try to run down a little bit, potentially grab somebody.
They might be able to kill the Renekton here. The Karthus R is doing just an absolute ridiculous amount of damage. You can get it off.
And Renekton jumped back in, got one. Karthus is still doing his burn thing. See an ult come out, maybe some damage pop here, follow up by the
not enough, and that's most likely the game.
Doing what they can to help Zed put out the damage. So much help on Diamond and TFT.
And they don't have the Baron buff anymore. They have one singular cannon minion, so they might not be able to... No, they should be able to. Surely, I don't think the Ashe can hold them off long enough. Renekton has backed off to go take that third base turret, however, so maybe they're not looking to finish here. I would have thought this would have definitely been a finish angle. They're doing backs now, so I guess they're not 100% certain that they can finish before everyone else comes up. But those timers are getting long at 32 minutes of the game.
Yeah, definitely. I think they probably wanted to try to finish, but without Gromp the Yard cleared all the minions. They got rid of all of them again. So that really helped them out to be able to come back for this one. And had TFT stopped or had stayed and tried to push, it wouldn't have gone well because they would have all been at low health. And while the other team's at full health, that's probably what Gromp the Yard really needed to get back into this. Game-wise, mentally, they're still in it. They're still pushing. They know what they need to do. Champion-wise, they do have some deficits they're trying to have to work around. But they're chatting up right now. They're gonna chill and wait. Maybe a Hail Mary steal of the.
I mean, they have to at this point. This is all they can ever fight for.
Yep. Let the Dragon do damage on them. Coming in, we're looking at a last-minute smite. Who's going to get it? And
Rammus smited it.
Rammus got it.
Karthus R is coming in, but that is going to be too little too late. And I mean, really, just the super minions are going to finish off the entirety of the base at this point.
That is Gromp the Yard doing everything they can. Rammus serpentine through there, trying to find the Zed flashing out. And
what was that? Did I see beams from the Rammus?
From that far? Or was that smite?
I have no idea what that was. That was incredible. Yeah, they took the safe option. They really just wanted to secure the win. I think they probably could have finished early, but once you get the Elder Dragon, it's just kind of GG at that point.
It was a really good game. It's exactly what how a playoff game you want it to go. You want it to last a little bit long. Have it last long and not be an absolute blowout. 33 minutes. It was a great game.
Yeah, that was I mean, pretty cut and dry game. I don't know. I think the only real lane they ever were winning was mid lane, and that was for a very short period of time. So couldn't quite get to the amount of time they needed to scale. Renekton got a little bit fed. Definitely doing a lot of damage at the end there. So tough game, but we have another one to go.
It is. They're gonna have to figure out what they want to do in their next matchup. But I really think the turnaround point in this match was the counter jungling in the top. They realized real quick that Karthus was doing Karthus things and he was going to get scary fast. And really, the only thing that they had to do against Karthus was that counter jungle to remove the CS that he was gaining on their Rammus. Rammus had the ganking potential and he did that pretty well, but Karthus was just clearing and just getting that gold lead on the Rammus, and so they found a way to kind of isolate him and slow him down a little bit. And I think that's really where Diamond and TFT um, started to pull away from Gromp the Yard.
Yeah, and with that being said, we are going to be back with game 2 very soon. We're going to go on a quick break. Thank you all for tuning in, and we will catch you very soon.
Welcome, everyone, back to Game 2 of Coach Rival Semifinals featuring Diamond in TFT versus Gromp the Yard. I'm joined by two of my, or gotta be kidding me, teammates when we should probably be practicing, but we're here instead. Mason and Chris. Boys, how do y'all feel going into this draft for Game 2?
Seeing that quick Shaco dose ban, Decker, I've got to say, he's been targeted all season. It's no surprise. These bans look relatively normal. Chris, what do you think of this quick Malphite pick from Gromp the Yard?
I mean, I think it's a good takeaway from we've seen Jubilus played in the mid lane, and it's just a good pick in general if you're going to take a top lane to try to play safe and then be good in team fights later. I am curious about the Zyra ban. I guess they thought that was a huge issue.
Yeah, they did play Zyra. They did play Zyra in last game, right? Versus them. So maybe it just was a lane problem that they didn't want to deal with it anymore.
And this is where I was curious. It leaves up the Mordekaiser yet again. Mm-hmm. So that could go, as we've seen, mid or top now.
It's really scary giving Pathfinder, who has been one of the most dominant players in the league, I think, just in general, not only a champion they're very comfortable on, but a champion that can isolate 1v1s and can just kind of create so much pressure for free. But the Malphite pick, I do like this style of, like, we have our main carry, like Dose is, I actually forget what Dose's league name is now. What is it now?
Rossetto Kaiba.
Rossetto Kaiba, yeah. Now, you have this big carry in your jungle, and Malphite is just one of those champions. It's like, hey, we can just play around whoever the carry is.
A quick two selections from Gromp the Yard, bringing in the Nami Varus. It looks like they're going for a little bit of that poke sustain type style with their bot lane here.
I mean, I like the Varus into Ashe. I think it's a good decision. Just curious if they're going to go poke. Right? Yeah, I was going to say, I'm curious if they'll go poke or some sort of on-hit hybrid or the classic static Shiv that we've seen a lot now. So
really what I want to know is Chris is always someone that likes to tinker with builds, play around in the practice tool, figure out builds. What are you like? Have you tried any Varus stuff recently, or are you still, if you've thought about Varus, has still been the static Shiv, normal stuff?
I mean, after they changed Ginsu's, I mean, it's such a good item on them, when they gave it back. So anything that you're gonna put onto that, if I see Mordekaiser in this game, it's very hard for me to decide here in draft whether Vel'Koz, whether you're gonna try to match poke with poke, or if you want to be able to shred this Mordekaiser in any team fight. So we'll have to see the rest of the picks come out. But I mean, he has options. That's the nice thing about where Varus is right now with Emus. Or Ginsu's, you have options. It's just you're gonna have to choose one here soon.
Do you think that this Vel'Koz is support?
I don't know.
I would definitely say that if this was me looking with his current team comps, his current bans, we see Diamond and TFT ban out the Annie and Lissandra. Given that those are two primary mid champions, that is probably a high likelihood that Vel'Koz is heading down the bot lane with that Ashe.
I was about to say, I think Sayoto is a Vel'Koz player, so I'm pretty sure that's Ashe Vel'Koz.
Yeah, and as this is Diamond and TFT, okay, and I am the resident TFT player on this cast at least. Well, they do have one of the most broken things in the game right now, which is Freljord, Sejuani, Ashe, stupid units in both TFT and on Summoner's Rift. But this draft from Diamond and TFT is super wombo-y, right? Sejuani, Ashe, Vel'Koz. The Mordekaiser doesn't fit that well, but and then a Viego, a B5 Viego, a very signature pick for Dose. This is a champion that he picks whenever he just says, "Screw it, give me the ball." Right? Let me take it, and I'll see what I can do with it.
I'm wondering where this Rumble's gonna go.
As I was about to say, a slight callback to the pick before the Viego. I do really like the Rumble pick here, especially against the tankier champions of Mordekaiser and Sejuani, having a lot of that mixed magic damage here. But with the Malphite pick, I'm starting to think, is this possibly a Rumble mid lane?
Yeah, that's where my head's going. I'm assuming they're just going straight, like, you throw all your ults out, get everyone low for Viego to go reset city. My problem is that I think that Mordekaiser is going to kind of make that job really hard. Like,
yeah, last game though, the Mordekaiser was played in mid lane instead of in top lane, so
it could be the Olaf then, right?
Yeah, it could be Olaf top instead. I'm very curious where they're gonna go. I think Varus has a very hard decision to make here in the draft, because in your laning phase, if you don't go poke, if you go on it, it is very hard to make it out of laning phase unscathed. However, once you're out of laning phase, you've got Mordekaiser, Sejuani, and Olaf coming at you. You don't have time to poke. You know what I mean? So like, definitely gonna be hard. I think Static Shiv can save him. I think he has to go the Static Shiv build, and then he can probably go some sort of on hit after that. Nashers into Bork Ginsu's or Nashers Ginsu's Bork, whatever. But I think Shiv will be what saves him from getting poked down too hard, and then you can't go poke virus in this game.
So let's do this. Let's do this. Mason, I want you to take Gromp the Yard. Chris, I want you to take Diamond and TFT. Let's start with you, Mason. What does this, looking at this team composition of Gromp the Yard, what do they need to happen in the first, let's say, 15, 20 minutes of the game for them to find success in these big team fights?
So definitely what Gromp the Yard is really, really pushing for here is they need some sort of really pull out of their top side. It looks like that Malphite is going to be left alone on an island, especially he's going to have a tough task against Pathfinder and their Mordekaiser. But if the Malphite can stay alive and offer a little bit of pressure, especially when we transition to possibly more in the team fight phase, with the Rumble ults, with the Varus ults, and with Viego being able to clean up kills and go into what you mentioned as Reset City, I think that's where Gromp the Yard's going to find a lot of their success.
And over to you, Chris. What do you think Diamond and TFT needs to do to find success in this game?
I mean, I think it's all going to come down to when you decide to pull that trigger. When does Sejuani say we're going in? Ash, Sejuani both throwing their R's and deciding to fight, because they can poke for a while, but at some point, if Olaf and Mordekaiser want to get into these fights, they're going to want to go in. So I think the timing of those ults are going to matter a lot, because if they go in at the wrong time, Varus Rumble can handle engages pretty well. So I think they just have to find those right moments to pull those engages in team fights.
So we have a bit of a surprise here in this draft. It actually looks like this Mordekaiser is going in mid lane.
Yeah,
and Pathfinder will actually be taking the Olaf into the top lane.
Yeah, Chris mentioned for last game that the Mordekaiser did go mid. They did flex it mid there, which is interesting again, because we think of Mordekaiser as a very Pathfinder champion, but having that flex is so powerful because this draft, like, it kind of gives Pathfinder two counter picks, right? He can sit on the Mordekaiser and just say, okay, well, I'm playing one of my best champions. We're just going to run through this lane. But now looking at the Olaf, like, Nambi presses R, Malphite R, Varus R, and Olaf just runs through it. He just kind of sprints through it and back to the back line and does whatever he wants. I do, Mason being our kind of resident mid laner here, I feel like you know more about weird off meta mid matchups than like most people that I talk to. So Mordekaiser versus Rumble, how do you see that lane playing out?
So definitely we just have to look at it in terms of like each champion's strengths. So Rumble is very, very good into melee matchups, of which Mordekaiser is. However, Mordekaiser has a lot of shielding, a lot of quick burst with his Q, especially if it's isolated. And if he stacks his passive off, having Rumble inside that circle that forms around Mordekaiser with his passive is going to be a bit of a hard sell for Rumble, especially if he's starting to heat it up, can't use his abilities effectively. I think the idea between this matchup, I've actually never seen or played this matchup in my 7 or 8 years of playing this game, so this is a pretty new one. But definitely, I think if Rumble can kind of just poke Mordekaiser out with the ease and just try to farm up as much as they can, and like I said, kind of transition into that team fight phase, I think they'll be good. One more point I'd like to add, though, is that with Pathfinder playing the Olaf, I think that it actually gives Malphite a little bit more pressure and a little bit more possibility for success in that top side. Because Malphite, obviously, is going to be structured around building armor. And if they're playing against Mordekaiser, building MR is not ideal or optimal for any sort of Malphite top lane. Building against Olaf, maybe they can rush with the Frozen Heart, or they can rush with the quick Renduin's Omen, or something like that, to really just try to stay alive in that top lane.
I'll tell you this, and Chris, you can attest to this. You will believe this, that if you ever want to tilt, this is just free information for whoever I forget who we play tomorrow, but if you ever want to tilt me off the face of the earth, it's make me play into Ashe Vel'Koz. Like, I would hate my life so much. I hate playing into poke lanes so much. Now, there is there is the counterbalance of like if you're playing engaged champion against a poke lane, but like Ashe Vel'Koz, if they ever miss anything, right? If they ever use any cooldowns wastefully, you can engage and punish that. But this is just going to be a snooze fest bot lane, if I had to guess, because it's just going to be Vel'Koz, Ashe poking, maybe Varus poking, Nami healing. I don't think a lot's going to happen. Chris, you see it playing out any differently?
Not until level 6. I mean, once I'm level 6, if I'm Ashe, I say we go in. We're doing it. Press R when I press R.
Yeah, exactly. And getting those free Vel'Koz passive stacks off of a rooted target, it just leads to so much damage. You can pretty much instantly just give someone. So looking at the jungle matchup now, let's focus on this because the Viego is going to be such a pivotal part of this team comp for Gromp the Yard. You know, Dose being a high diamond master level jungler, obviously he's someone that can apply a lot of pressure. Where would you all, we'll start with you here, Chris, where would you all expect to see Dose trying to make an impact?
I mean, I'm not ganking top lane. I don't know Sejuani's cleared too well. But maybe there's an opportunity to invade. But I do think once Varus hits 6, I'd probably be looking down there as well. Even though Ashe Vel'Koz can press R, so can Varus, and maybe those are some squishy targets. It's gonna be hard to kill. I think it's just gonna be hard to kill or gank the other places. You know, they're just so beefy.
Yeah, and I think one of the major struggles last game for Gromp the Yard is that they lost a lot of dragon priority, gave up a lot of dragons really early, and kind of set themselves on a clock, right? So we kind of saw at that the last soul fight and then the elder fight, they just kind of had to throw everything against the wall and just kind of see what stuck. The early game, I think, is going to be a big determining factor of this for Gromp the Yard. Mason, talk me through how you see the first kind of 5 minutes playing out. What does Gromp the Yard need to make sure they're doing in what lanes?
Survive is the first thing, Decker.
Yeah,
Gromp the Yard needs to make sure that they get through the early game relatively unscathed. Make sure they're not getting poked out from the Ashe W's, the Vel'Koz Qs, making sure that they're not getting these big wombo combos initiated on them in the early game, trying to play safe, not allow the jungler to find any successful ganks, and realistically just survive. And I think if they can survive and not give over a number of kills over to Diamond and TFT, that they'll find a lot of success once we, like I said, transition into that team fight stage.
All right, now we have a very quick moment to do this before we get into game time, but this is really important to our team and specifically. Who wins the skin wars here? Look around.
Skin wars.
It has to be Diamond and TFT because you got
Broloff.
You got Broloff. I'm OP.
Look at that Rumble.
Your mom's OP. I'm sorry.
Pink Rumble is good. I do agree. It looks like these two teams are setting up their initial early game. It looks like actually Diamond and TFT are going for a quick invade into this top side. If Rumble's not careful, he could poke into this.
Oh,
has to blow the early flash.
Yeah, that's going to be a big cooldown. It's going to make him very susceptible to like a level 2 or level 3 Sejuani gank. You know, I wouldn't think of the Mordekaiser as being able to kill that early, but Pathfinder wanting that early information on where Dose wants to be effective. And do you have a ward down to see this roam up here? The Malphite is going to be able to get out, but a really early vision setup, maybe? Are they dropping wards? I haven't seen a ward drop yet. Have you?
I have
just
not. No.
One. Bless me in the bush.
Yeah, the blue ward that got dropped was a.
It's not gonna help him see where the pathing's going.
Oh yeah, I see the one you're talking about. Let's say that I know that.
Yeah.
Gromp the Yard. I'm gonna get these names wrong constantly. Gromp the Yard got that ward on their blue side to protect their blue start, but it looks like Olaf is going to be starting on an invade, so trying to throw Dose off his game a little bit. But like we've talked about, Dose is a very good jungler. He's been invaded plenty of times. He's going to know how to react to that and adjust.
Lake Demon initially taking this quick blue side from Gromp the Yard as Olaf heads up towards that top lane. Rumble with a quick Q, clearing out some of the back minions. Not able to find any purchase yet. It actually looks like the bot lane for Diamond and TFT are a little bit late to lane, or possibly took a quick back.
Yeah, that's the part I'm most confused on because they missed some XP there.
Yeah, and in this matchup, especially looking at the bot lane, like XP is the name of the game, right? Who gets his skills first wins the lane first, most likely. Level 2, I do think that Ashe Vel'Koz spike a little hard. It looks like they're invaded on the Viego.
Yeah, invading on the Viego here. Quick response to Viego trying to recapture his blue after knowing that with the ward up on his blue side that Lake Demon was able to take it. Dose with a counter gank here, and the Viego unfortunately hits the cannon with his stun, finds no purchase there.
But if I'm being honest, I feel like they gave a free lane to Varus Nami. They got to level 2 without having to take any poke, and they've got to shove them in. Poke lanes can't do a lot if all they can do is hit minions.
Yeah, I think the idea is okay. Like they're saying, like if we can set Dose behind, we kind of guarantee early game success, right? But like you said, there's not much.
Oh, Jubileus Pasha's the first solo kill in the mid lane from Coyote on his Rumble, burning him down.
That's huge, actually. Mordekaiser also burned the flash there, so Rumble is just going to be more of a pain going into the next base here. Going to get the wave shoved in, so he's going to have to TP. So that's both summoners down for Mordekaiser. If Rumble can base and punish this here and just get him low, Viego will have an absolute field day when he comes by.
That's an incredible kill from the Rumble in the mid lane. Getting an early kill like that, especially on Rumble against these melee matchup, is going to make Jubileus's life so hellish for the rest of this mid lane.
I mean, he blew his flash early, and we said that like, oh no, that could go bad. He don't need flash. He just got a solar kill.
I guess not. Pathfinder taking an early fight against Magros on his Malphite up here, because he's got to be careful, got to dodge some of those axes. Pops the potion, is relatively healthy, throws a Seismic Shard out, trading a little bit of health.
Grasp is an interesting decision here from the Malphite. You know, a lot of times in lanes like this, you might see Malphites take Comet to kind of get the early poke to dissuade any all-ins from the Olaf, and also gives you more mana regen so that you can kind of cheese some farm here and there. It's going to be really difficult. He might just go for a kill here.
Does Pathfinder go for this dive? No. Slam down from Magros, thinning out this wave a little bit. I don't think Pathfinder feels comfortable at his low HP, especially without... Oh, Ragnarok, never mind. A quick strike from the Olaf in the top lane, finding a solo kill up there.
What a caster curse.
I did. I apologize for the curse, Magros. It looks like a gank coming in here on Jubileus. Jubileus taken out by Dose on his Viego.
And that's the way to punish a down flash.
Exactly. Getting Viego ahead early on these ganks is going to be pivotal for Gromp the Yard. We have a fight here in the bot lane. Ashe with a scatter shot coming down. Couple of fights, couple of flashes blown from Psychazi on this Varus, but no blood so far.
Yeah, and that was exhaust blown by Nami, heal blown by Varus, both flashes, and they're going to lose potentially a double wave here. Like, Nami's might be able to catch some of the XP, but that's not how you want to use your mana when you have so little. But a big loss here for Varus. It's going to be down probably about a wave by the time he gets back, and no summoners, while the Ashe still has both Flash and Ghost. But let's talk about this mid lane matchup a little bit, because you said it right. Great punish there from Dose to come up and get and punish the no flash on the Mordekaiser. And this Rumble is looking like he could actually take over the game. And once Rumble gets to that one item power spike, he's going to be able to have free shove on Mordekaiser when Mordekaiser has no shove into a matchup that he's losing, right? He's going to take all of his HP trying to get it. So Rumble is going to be able to get these waves in and then affect the bot side or the top side of the map much more easily and enable Dose to get further and further ahead. As you do see a little bit of CS in the jungle, in the discrepancy in the jungle.
He's going again.
Coyote with another gank here in the mid lane from Viego. Ignite coming down, burning. One more strike, and Viego is able to take down the Mordekaiser in the mid lane. Jubileus having a hard time pushing up here, but this Rumble with that early Hextech alternator, that burst I don't think was expected.
What I gotta say, the thing that I'm noticing the most right now is the confidence coming out of this Rumble. He is moving forward. Didn't have flash, and he was like constantly moving forward in this matchup. Sees the gank opportunities. Yep. Equalizer
blown into the early top river, probably just trying to get Olaf off that scuttle crab.
Yeah, that pink ward still did go down, despite it looks like potentially a lane swap here. Maybe looks like Olaf is heading back toward the top side. But yeah, I mean, you're right. The Rumble is playing very confidently, and honestly, Dose looks mad. I mean, he's like, you tried to invade my jungle, so I'm gonna just punish you for the next 7 minutes of the game. As we get the first dragon spawn, we do have a Cloud Dragon, so that soul is off the table, probably thankfully to whoever's ahead. But it's going to be interesting because the bot side, it looks kind of equal, even though they kind of have a summoner disadvantage. This mid lane is just a chasm right now that I'm not sure if Diamond and TFT is going to be able to pressure this dragon.
Fight in the jungle.
Quick invade from here from Viego. We have the rotate over from Saikazi on this Varus. A knockup from Vel'Koz misses the bubble. Piercing arrow lands onto Ashe, but no further fighting other than that. It looks like Rumble's coming in here to clear out some vision, take away this blue buff, try to set up for this dragon.
Yeah, and if we just look at the item discrepancy mid here, right? We have the most of Merc Treads for the Mordekaiser, so a great idea there to go in and get that blue buff, and use your priority and do something proactive. And didn't get the dragon, but they have plenty of time to do that. There's really no rush. I think as far as scaling goes in this game, Rumble Viego scales pretty hard. Malphite is useful around most parts of the game.
Pathfinder having a bit of an aggressive posture up here in this top lane. Lends another axe, but doesn't go for the dive just yet.
Maybe he wants it. He wants it bad.
He wants it. I can see it in his eyes.
You know, there is a lot of pressure. You know, if you do see like one of your lanes moving when you are this team's main carry, that Pathfinder definitely is. You might feel pressured to go for some of these risky plays, and Pathfinder's an extremely good player, and you know I believe in his ability to calculate aggression. But a Rumble ult coming down.
Equalizer comes down onto this Olaf. Another E hits with the shield, but unfortunately Pathfinder falls. Have another fight in the bot lane. Dose falls to the Vel'Koz. Exhaust down on Sejuani.
The arrow
Coming down. Piercing arrow lands. Mordekaiser joins the fight. Passive is procced against this Nami. Can't she get away? No flash. Coming up in 5 seconds. Oh, with the single Q brought down. Mordekaiser just gets himself back into this game.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, I don't know what the idea was there. I mean, because if you know that your Rumble, who is one of your strongest players, is making a play on top side, there's no reason to be anywhere near that dragon, if I'm being honest. Because, I mean, you're going to be outnumbered. And though Mordekaiser is down, he's still a body, right? So he's still a body. You're still going to get outnumbered that way. So a really risky maneuver from Gromp the Yard to even be around that dragon with that topside play happening. And exactly what Diamond and TFT needed to try to stabilize the mid game.
Even so, I mean, like, we're just seeing a different... It looks like a different team playing right now compared to game one. I mean, the gold's fairly even, and they are... Gromp the Yard's bringing it to them. This is what we like to see.
Yeah, we're here for a 3-game series, right?
Exactly. Looks like Olaf is rotated down to that mid lane to catch some farm, but that does allow Magros on this Malphite to get some gold, get back into this game, try to close that gap in the top lane just a little bit. Again, if he can survive and just get into this mid game, I think with the fights that Gromp the Yard can find, especially with this comp, they'll have some success here.
Oh, a TP comes down.
TP coming down into the pit. Rumble posturing over. It looks like Diamond and the TFT just gave up this dragon. Oh, with a Q in the Arctic Assault. Not finding any purchase, but Nami picking up the kill onto Lake Demon on this. The Equalizer coming down. Burning once more. Mordekaiser finding another death in this mid lane.
There's just slaughter all over the map.
Yeah, I gave it to, or gotta be kidding me, a second ago. I'm gonna give it to Diamond and TFT a little bit. There's just no reason to go do that. Like you,
Yard.
Shoot! I'm gonna get it. So there's just no reason to be near that dragon, right? Like, Sejuani.
Another dive coming down. Varus with a piercing arrow quickly takes another kill.
Yeah, it's Dragon 1. It's a cloud dragon. You know that your Olaf is topside. We see the TP coming down. There's just no reason to steal that. And as a lot of us do, we see our teammate going in for the steal, and we kind of totter around the outside of what could be a fight or what could be a fight. And it leads to a lot of gold going into the pocket of the Viego. Now, on the other side of that, Olaf did get 4 plates, probably 3 plates. I think you already had 1. So a lot more gold in there as well. And it looks like the lane swap is coming in now.
So, Decker, I'm asking you in terms of just this early 11, 12 minutes of this game, we obviously see Gromp the Yard with a 6-kill lead, but only about a 1,300 gold lead. What do you think Diamond and TFT has to do to get really back into this game?
Yeah, it's Diamond and TFT just has to play. I think they're doing exactly what they have to do. They swap their Mordekaiser top. They've put top lane on a pretty big disparity. So as far as gold value, like the Mordekaiser and the
Death Realm coming in. Sorry, not to interrupt you, but Death Realm coming in on this Malphite. Another Olaf postured up here to take a fight. Flash out from Malphite. Viego on the counter gank. Doesn't want to take it though.
Yeah, losing that flash from the Malphite doesn't have ult it's a good call, but that's exactly what they need to do. As
a quick knock up with an Ash Arrow, a comboing in, tidal wave coming out, does knock up the Ash, exhaust blown, another fight coming up. There's chaos all over the map. Pathfinder trying to fight 1v3, unable to finish it off. What is happening right now?
There's a lot of fighting.
Oh, an Arctic Assault with the ult coming in from Sejuani takes down the Malphite.
So Varus ended up going down there. So the bot lane is getting hard. Chris, where was your head on how to stabilize this? Because like I know Varus has 2 kills, but this is just getting harder and harder now that they have 6 for them to play into.
You gotta get that Shiv as fast as possible. I think I would have skipped the Berserker Greaves and just gotten that Shiv ASAP because like you kind of just don't even want to interact with this lane until, I mean, especially if your Viego's on the other half of the map. But I will say this Viego Rumble combo is starting to look pretty nasty. So, you know, if it's me at AC, I'm just not gonna die anymore.
This is the real hard-hitting question. Okay, so I'm assuming that both of you play with SmartCast, right? SmartCast indicators.
Yes.
Chris.
Oh. Quick fight coming down into this mid lane onto Reseto Kaiba. Axe lands, burning from the Rumble though. Couple tower shots, not able to take it down. 3v1 here, don't want to look for the dive immediately. We'll see if Rumble can clear out this lane. It looks like Diamond and TFT are just going to scatter, take their kill, and leave.
Yeah, if you kill the Viego, that's a win, right? So you shut down their strongest member right now, and you can pretty much do whatever you want with the map at this point.
I mean, that was a huge shutdown. I mean, they're down 5 kills and up almost 1,000 gold.
I agree, and it's really starting that CS discrepancy in the top lane. It looks like Olaf has done an amazing job, you know, trying to find these early fights, this early aggression, with that early dive, especially under the tower. He's got himself a Ravenous Hydra, is currently stacking that up. I think that Pathfinder really needs to be the force of reason back into this game, especially once we're starting to get into this later game. The later it goes, the more this Rumble is going to burn, especially 1-0 and 7. It's a pretty solid scoreline. Still doesn't have his first item though.
Yeah, do you think he's gonna go Proto Belt? Is that kind of the play here? Or
with the Hextech Alternator Codex, it looks like it's shifting to be probably a Proto Belt angle. And as you said, Chris, we just see the Shiv, the static Shiv completed for Sykazi's Varus here.
Yeah, it still might be Night Harvester. I think they have similar build paths, but I don't remember. It's been too long since I've played a mid lane champ.
True. Hey, you play on bot lane. What are you talking about? You play them constantly.
Don't tell people. Don't tell people.
Dose comes in.
From Vars.
Blue side comes in.
Ash just saved his life.
Flash coming out from Ash to avoid the Viego stun.
Yeah, I do want to see once we kind of hit these big team fights, which we might any moment now. These kind of these layering of ultimates from Gromp the Yard is going to be a really determining factor on what happens.
We have a flash blown out from Vel'Koz. Tidal Wave hits 4!
Oh my lord.
A big Vel'Koz ult. No purchase the Ash Arrow, but Sejuani's ultimate lands and nets a kill for Diamond and TFT.
Yeah, so the kill plus a dragon, that's exactly that exact scenario is how Diamond and TFT wants to play, right? They just throw all their R buttons and
Sejuani doesn't look like they're done. Ends up blowing the flash from Nami.
What was so smart there from Diamond and TFT was how they instantly turned, seeing that Rumble and Malphite were on the left side, and they just instantly turned on the right side for the fight. So Malphite wasn't even able to ult in that fight to affect it at all.
Exactly. We have a big grouping up here. It looks like Diamond TFT is ready to siege this tower, but against a Rumble Viego, I don't see how they siege this tower with the lack of range they have on their side, especially without Ashe there.
Yeah, it's all just a distraction so that Pathfinder can keep farming at 151 CS, by far the most CS in the game currently. The lowest of which being in the Mordekaiser and the Malphite, just trying to catch up, both playing through tough lanes, so having a hard time I'm surprised this Rumble has not gotten to their first item though. That's going to be a major power spike for Gromp Yard.
Looks like Diamond TFT taking this fight underneath their tower. Gromp the Yard, unfortunately, losing their Malphite on the siege. Don't even get the tower for their efforts.
Yeah,
Varus might be able to get bought, though.
True.
Good
Pathfinder
response.
all the way. It's just up top lane, just ravaging the top side of the map. So he's just going to be able to not only pressure that top turret, but also steal away probably most of Dose's top side farm. So this is going to set the
Optic
Viego
Assault.
behind a little more.
We have the Varus ult coming out, a flash out from the Sejuani, exhaust also blown off of the Ashe, netting the kill over to blue side. He's getting himself back into this game, especially after a bit of a rough showing in the bot lane, but a premier with this Kraken Slayer now built, the Berserker's Greaves will be able to auto attack anyone down, especially on this team. The only one maybe not is just Malphite at this point.
I want to know who you think is having less fun. Is it Mordekaiser or Varus? It looks like.
Well, I can tell you right now, I think both teams are having fun as we have the Ashe Enchanted Crystal Arrow coming out. Viego lands his stun, is able to hit a couple auto resets and take the kill. I think honestly, Decker, both teams are having a lot of fun right now. It's a bit of a chaos. You know, these are the games that you really like to play in solo queue, and these are the ones that are the barn burners slightly. And it's still a competitive game, which everyone is excited to see. We've only got about a 2,000 gold discrepancy for Diamond and TFT, so we'll see where it carries from here.
I mean, 21 kills at 19 minutes. This is what we want. We don't want
Exactly. This is a bloodbath. This is what we're asking for here.
no one coming out scared.
I think that was my fault. I said it would be a snooze fest bot lane, and it's just.
It just turns out to be the most volatile lane ever.
But man, this Olaf is farming like a madman. 186 CS. If someone who's better at math than me can decide what that CS per minute is, but just 2 completed items with tabbies. Yeah, that makes sense. So 2 completed items with tabbies. I don't know. This is kind of the constant thing of if Olaf ever just starts splitting, what does Gromp the Yard do about it?
That's an interesting question. I don't know who they send to match it. I think your best shot would probably be sending Dose, but obviously you can't really send your jungler to a side lane, especially with critical objectives up. Interesting to see too that Pathfinder didn't go for more of a carry build. He went for more of a Jock Show tanky type build. So we'll see how that fares as this game continues on. Olaf is known to be one of those champions that kind of falls off a cliff later in the game, but with this tank build, perhaps he could stay relevant as the game goes on. Equalizer down in the mid lane. Looks like just to clear a wave, though. Oh, we have a Malphite all coming in. Ashe is just dead! Picked up another kill for the Rumble.
Ashe will be alive in time for the dragon, but probably if they started on spawn, they're not going to be there for the dragon.
Exactly. There's no hex gates or anything to get there quickly.
Yeah, a huge roam down there from the Malphite, just able to get so much pressure, and Ashe just caught kind of unaware, but a really good proactive play there with dragon spawning. Those are the kind of plays that kind of make games, is seeing what's happening and doing something about it beforehand instead of being, reactive, right?
Yep.
Exactly, and this is what exactly we talked about in draft. The Malphite just being able to stay alive at 2, 3, and 4, even being down as much CS as they are, that's totally fine as long as they've just lived. And they're always going to be useful with that Malphite ult and just being a tanky frontline for these members of Gromp the Yard.
They need to start this dragon before Ashe gets here, otherwise those ults will be...
Ragnarok popped. It looks like the tidal wave coming out. Vel'Koz's ult popped. Magros falling. Do's able to take a reset. Olaf coming through. Do's trying to fight 1v4 right now. He does not want to give up this dragon. Rumble comes back in with his flame burning. Varus falls with the Arctic Assault. Another reset with the Mordekaiser. Another reset. Double kill. Eventually falls, and it looks like Sejuani is the only survivor of this massive fight in the bot lane. Wow.
Dose was so close to getting another reset after that. Just barely not able to pick up that body and keep going.
Yeah, that was a great start of the fight for Gromp the Yard, just dropping all their CC down. But I think, Chris, you called it out perfectly. Not starting that dragon on spawn it was definitely a punish, but almost able to salvage it. Really good play there from Gromp the Yard, and a really good play from Diamond and TFT to try to keep their dreams, their second Drake Dreams alive. But Sejuani's having a little bit of trouble doing this dragon on her own.
Yeah, it's a slow clear, even with the auto resets and the ease. I wouldn't be surprised. It could be popped, could be pushed off this, but it looks like Gromp the Yard's just gonna concede the dragon, lick their wounds, and keep walking away.
Yeah, and for Gromp the Yard here, like getting Ocean Soul would be so impactful, right? Being able to withstand some of that poke toward the end of the game would be so impactful to kind of how they want to play the game. So I definitely expect that we'll see some really explosive fights. I mean, we've been seeing nothing but explosive fights this entire game, right? So I expect to see a lot more, as the only objective left up right now is currently Baron.
Interesting build too. It looks like the we have a quick fight here from the Viego. Enchanted Crystal Arrow flies wide, but Olaf diving Gromp in the Yard's backline. Tidal Wave comes out to no effect. Kills. No, with the blast cone, an error on the blast cone. Viego is able to Heartbreaker over the wall, but these axes are just chopping the mountain down. Having to blow the flash, another Q pops out. A small skirmish here at the blue buff. It looks like Rumble is joining the fight. Another Ragnarok. We have Rumble running down the Ash. But on the other side of the map, Dose is getting run down by the Sejuani with double buffs. Continuously slowing, is able to get out in his Shroud as Malphite makes a tactical retreat in the top lane. What is going on here?
Chaos. And this is the fun.
This is anarchy, truly. Man, this, I gotta say, for my first game casting, this is quite the banger.
I can't believe Malphite lived there. That's awesome.
That is awesome. I'm having a really hard time trying to keep track of everything that's going on at once here.
Yeah, I thought that maybe once the Ragnarok had stopped from the Olaf, that the Viego was looking to maybe re-engage and punish that. They did, as you called it earlier, use that Hearts Seeker?
Heartbreaker.
Heartbreaker. You know stuff, I don't know stuff. They used that Heartbreaker to escape over the wall there from the river, so both didn't have ultimates, and just the sheer power of the Olaf was just a little too challenging to get through. But still, a very good posturing there from Gromp the Yard to try and stave off what could have been sort of a catastrophic play there.
Exactly.
I mean, if they lose that, that's definitely Baron.
I agree, and I think they were just, very reluctant to really try to pull the trigger, and they were a bit split on the map, but definitely it turns out that the fight ended up pretty even, all things considered.
This Goldie hasn't changed much from the 3K that it was last Dragon fight.
Exactly. We have a bit of an ARAM here in the mid lane. It looks like both teams are trying to siege down each other's tier 1 mid towers, trying to open up that map for a little bit more vision control, a little bit more espionage in the jungles that they can find.
Yeah, and a little bit of a tower lead for Gromp the Yard. For Diamond and TFT, which is I think where some of the gold leads coming from. Then of course like the giant CS monster.
Oh, we have a stun landed. Equalizer comes down. Everyone scatters around. Flash blown from Jubilus. A re-assault here with the Sejuani ult. Malphite ults in into the backline, but I think he's just ulting into his demise here. Tidal Wave coming through, knocks up one. We have another assault coming in. Bubble misses. Looks like Rumble is pulled into the death realm, but I think both parties are just going to disengage here. The 1-for-0 heading over to Diamond and TFT.
Vel'Koz still has ult and Viego still has ult. That's what I'm looking at in this fight. Will either of them pull that trigger?
Popping the Vel'Koz ult. Double flashes blown for both Rumble and Viego. Another flash blown from Pathfinder throwing an axe.
Vel'Koz flash after. There's just a flash. I think that was 4 flashes, in the past 10 seconds.
Which is actually going to be crazy.
Those are a lot of big cooldowns, like you were saying, Chris, blown for that next Ocean Drake to spawn. But it does look like Diamond and TFT will win this battle of attrition and take down the tier 1 mid turret. Does look like Viego is looking for a quick stun, isn't able to be pulled by the Mordekaiser E.
Yeah, these
Piercing arrow
Mordekaiser E's have been pivotal. Oh, a catch out, maybe.
Ragnarok pot.
Ooh.
It looks like Heartbreaker used. There's 4 people against Pathfinder, but he doesn't care. He's popped the Ragnarok, and the healing is insane. Enchanted Crystal Arrow lands on the Malphite. A couple of resets. Oh no! And I think Diamond and TFT might have just pulled a rabbit out of the hat, unable to find the purchase. The Sejuani ult finds its target, and this tier 2 is going down, as well as this dragon, possibly Baron.
That was such a pivotal turn by Pathfinder there.
Yeah, it looked like a pick. The Rumble ult didn't quite just hit, but really just a good job on Pathfinder to understand his champion, understand the state that he's in, and just auto attack through all that mess. That's going to be a heartbreaker.
And it's what we mentioned earlier, the Jock Show build onto Pathfinder. If he had gone a normal Gore Drinker, I don't think he survives that fight.
Right.
I think the drain from the Jock Show from all the members of Gromp the Yard around him really added into that insane health pool that he gained back.
Yeah, I want to point this out too. Like Mordekaiser had a rough early part of the game, but now sitting at 4, 6, and 5, and these claws from Mordekaiser have been pick city. Like Jubilis is landing so many of these pulls to pull a priority target back into their team for a free kill. It's been insane.
I'm a little surprised Gromp the Yard, straight out of base, went to go look at the Baron instead of just conceding and going straight for the Dragon. Because now they're giving up both.
Yeah, it looks like Diamond and TFT is able to pick up both critical objectives here. They're going to take a reset, spend their gold. Chris, what do you think that Gromp the Yard has to do to, stabilize this game? It looks like it's getting a little bit out of hand for them.
I think at this point, you just play for a reset, dump all of your kit into... I mean, if you can kill this Olaf or this Mordekaiser or this Sejuani in a fight and get the reset for Viego, doesn't matter if you're behind because now you have their champion and their kit. So I think you just got to take out the one person. Unfortunately, in that last fight, they just couldn't take out the Olaf. So we'll see.
A very pivotal objective bounty there claimed. Just a little more gold in their pockets, as we are seeing just around the horn with 3 items on the Viego, 3 items on the Olaf. Everyone else sitting either 2 or 1.5-ish area. So item spikes right now, if you are Gromp the Yard, item spikes are looking pretty similar. Most people are on either 2 or 2.5. That's kind of what you want to look for when you're behind. Whenever your opponents hit that 2.5 item spike, when you hit 2, you can comfortably fight with them, even if they're up a lot of gold, because a lot of that gold is in components, right? So if Gromp the Yard is going to be able to find a fight back into this that's not a blunder by Diamond and TFT, it'll be something very soon. Exactly, and we still have to pay attention to the fact that Resetto Kaiba dose on this Viego is 10, 4, and 4, 178 CS. He's got 3 completed items, the Merc Treads coming out, building probably what looks to be the Blade of the Ruin King next. He is going to be a force to be reckoned with. If he can get a quick reset off of the back line or something, this fight can swing wildly either way, even with the 7,000 gold difference here. About 3 minutes for the next dragon, 3.5 minutes for the next Baron. So if you're Gromp the Yard, you're either hoping for a quiet next 3 minutes or you're looking to find a pick soon. Looking around the jungle, it looks like a decent amount of defensive vision for Gromp the Yard. Not a lot pushed up, but a very strong vision line for Diamond and TFT. I would like to see Diamond and TFT push their vision a little bit deeper since they have so much control over especially the bot side of the map. But we'll see. I think they really just want to push for this inhib. I agree. Piercing Arrow does not find any purchase. Malphite being chunked out with 1/3 of his health. Equalizer comes down, clears most of the wave. They're able to clear out the last cannon and protect their inhibitor for now. But the next wave is coming in. Sejuani ult falls, finds Rumble, presses Zanya's. Malphite stunned up. Tidal wave coming out. Ult from Malphite finds no purchase here. Still alive for now. Pathfinder unable. Diving Nexus turrets to try to kill the backline. Viego able to heartbreak out, but this inhibitor looks like it's about to fall and possibly the game. Yeah, Viego was able to get onto the Ashe and kill the Ashe, but this front line from Diamond and TFT was just so difficult for the rest of of Gromp the Yard, my lord, to deal with. It was just they're just a little too strong and a little too, looking at Gromp the Yard, they have a lot of strength in jungle and a lot of strength in mid. But Diamond and TFT has been able to spread out their leads across so many places now. It's just so hard to pick someone and deal with them.
Exactly. It looks like Diamond and TFT are moving up to this top tier 2, taking it down, trying to knock down this top inhibitor as well. Oh, it's so tough right now. But if there's anyone that can pull a rabbit out of the hat, we've seen Gromp the Yard do some pretty remarkable things, especially when Resetto Kaiba has this lead, and he's still incredibly strong. If he's able to find some flank or some miracle fight, I think they could still pull this out.
I wonder how much gold he is away from that Blade of the Rune King, if it's possible to get it before the next dragon or not.
That would be a huge
pickup. You could just press, I think it's X, when you have the thing open, Mr. Producer Man. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I don't know.
Pathfinder coming in with a fight, brings out Viego, smacking the mountain as much as they can. Ragnarok is still active, still CC immune. Split each way. Seismic Shard comes out. Enchanted Crystal Arrow falls wide. The Death Realm onto the Rumble. Able to survive the majority of the fight. Pathfinder still taking Saikazi out on this Varus. Looks like Rumble was able to escape from the Death Realm of the Mordekaiser as well. But another kill onto the Varus, and I think they have to give up this Ocean Drake, guys.
Yeah, it looks like there's really not a lot of outside of a...
Oh, a quick fight onto this Mordekaiser, unable to find anything. Just a quick disengage from Jubilus here. That tanky build and the claw back, unable to find any purchase. Looks like Dose is going for this.
Oh, I thought he had it for a moment there.
Doesn't have any sort of steal, unfortunately. And with Resetto Kaiba and that Viego dead, it looks like with super minions pushing in, Diamond and TFT might look for the end here. Actually, no, Baron is spawning in 3 seconds, so they're heading towards Baron.
They're just going to do Baron. It's a safe play here. Do Baron, take your reset, and then shove down either 4-1 or honestly just fall and run at them. There's really not a lot that Gromp the Yard can do at this point. They're down 9k or 9k gold. Just the Viego just not able to quite because there's just so many tanky people on this, right? Viego's can't one shot the Olaf, can't one shot the Sejuani, and like you said, because of this tank build for the Mordekaiser, can't one shot them either. So you're only left with getting onto the Ashe or Vel'Koz, but by the time you're able to get them down, it's just too late for the rest of the team. Really, really well played from Diamond and TFT here.
Exactly, and I think if Varus could actually finish his next item, get a little bit more of that AP, he would be the one to actually do a lot of the tank shred, because obviously Varus Qs do % max health damage with the stacks of Blight, but without that stacks of Blight, if they're not able to hit a solid ultimate or anything, especially being level 12, it's looking a bit dire, but here we go. It looks like Diamond and TFT is pushing into the base, trying to take down, crack this top inhibitor, look for the Nexus turrets. Dose goes in, a quick ult from the Malphites coming out. Doesn't find lane purchase. Tidal Wave comes out. Vel'Koz ult comes out. Looks like they're going to find the first kill onto Nami. Saikazi still firing away, firing. Not able to find any purchase. Sejuani dives the towers, and it looks like Diamond and TFT are going to punch their tickets to the finals. Dose on this Viego is trying desperately to find any kills, but with the Nexus cracked, Diamond and TFT take a 2-0 victory in this series.
Yeah, and a very convincing one, I think, coming into this. Diamond and TFT were the favorites, not only for this game, but just for the tournament in general. They've been playing so well across this event. And I just want to shout out Jubilus, because like this Mordekaiser was having such a hard time in this Rumble early. The early flashes, the punish coming in from the Viego and the Rumble, and just was able to stabilize so well. And like I said, be such a pivotal part of this team comp.
I mean, they came in as the 2 seed, and they showed us why they're the second best team after all season. They played that really, really well. But I mean, Gromp the Yard, nothing away from them, even though they got 0-2 tonight. Showed up huge in the quarterfinals with the biggest upset of the tournament so far. And props to them for coming out tonight swinging.
Yeah, and like you said, like the difference between Gromp the Yard in Game 1 and Game 2 was night and day, right?
Yeah. I'm always surprised when a team loses and then they come out playing with confidence, because that's what it looked like I was watching, was a lot of play of confidence, especially from that Rumble mid. So mad props to them. They should probably main that.
Exactly.
And I think that with Gromp the Yard,
obviously with their elimination here, but they showed a lot of heart, a lot of fights in that second game as well. And honestly, it looked really good in the early game. I think it just fell apart near some of those critical fights. And again, like we said, those tank builds really came through and kind of negated a lot of the early advantage that Rumble felt.
Absolutely. Well, with that, a great series. I wish we could have had a game 3, but we're gonna have to say goodbye to you. Tomorrow we will have another matchup between who is it, Chris? What are the teams?
It's a little team called Or Gotta Be Kidding Me. They tend to have some really weird drafts because their bot laner is a psychopath. So I'm excited to see them play. Actually, tomorrow's game though, they're the top laner for. Why am I blanking on the name of the best team in the league? Control Defeat. Control Defeat. It's because they just whooped us. I blinded them from my memory. Their top laner. I'm curious. Aatrox, Jax, Ivern, all champs that are incredibly strong right now. Mad respect to them. Curious if Our Gotta Be Kidding Me is just gonna, throw all those bans at them. We'll see.
We will be back tomorrow, and you all can remind us that we should have been practicing instead of doing this. But anyway, we had fun hanging out with you all, and thank you to Drake in the background for producing this whole thing and inviting us on to share our terrible takes with you. But with that, we'll see you tomorrow.